Hello, everyone. I hope that I'm live now. So, welcome you all on my YouTube channel. And in this live, we will be trying to cover up the pandas package. I hope that you already have aware about the headline and the thumbnail itself. That the today's session is all about with respect to the pandas module, and we will try to cover up in a great detail. I'll try to divide the session into two components. This very first component, because it's a very wide module, and this module will be very widely used in a lot of data science aspects. So I'll try to cover up the basic things in today's session, and the more advanced things in the upcoming session, part three. Part two. Okay. So this is how basically we will divide our today's session into two components. The first session, because it's the very first session of pandas, so I'll try to talk about the basics of that, and in the upcoming session we will try to go more advanced towards that. Now, who can watch this session, who will be able to understand the today's session? All those students who are following my Python programming playlist, all those students who are already been aware about the numpy package, which I already have covered up in the previous session. Those people only, I would say, will be better able to communicate and understand whatever I'm trying to convey here. Will be able to better connect with me, right? So I'm expecting that you are following in a continuation only the series which I'm trying to give here with respect to the Python programming, and there is no one who have missed the previous sessions before jumping towards the today's session. Can I pre-assume this thing with everyone? Can you guys give me the confirmation as well that am I clearly visible, properly audible or not? It would be a great start then. So I have attached my WhatsApp channel link in the chat window, and I have pinned as well if you can see. So if there is still someone who will not who have not joined my WhatsApp channel, please do join. I used to share all the information with respect to my YouTube videos there only as the very first stream, and then I used to share at the LinkedIn profile. Please do connect with me there as well. If you still didn't followed me there. Apart from this, I have attached one session material drive link where you will be able to get the collab file as well as the data set, right? So please try to go with respect to that link and try to download that data. It's not available online. I got from Kaggle itself. So if you want, you can take from any of the available resource. Either you can click on the link which I have shared with you all, or you can directly just tap on Titanic dataset Kaggle. You will be able to get the very first link. You can just download that. That's it. Because whatever I will do today, I really want everyone to do in their own platform also, so that you will be able to understand in a perfect manner what I'm trying to convey here, right? So before starting, a very happy Diwali to all. I think those who want to join, they have joined. I hope that this Diwali is very much perfect for each and everyone, will bring all the happiness, prosperity in everyone's life, and I hope you already have enjoyed it a lot. uh, Festive season is still going on, but still I thought that let's take one live, and then maybe tomorrow is also a Bhai Dooj, I think. So there is a lot of things going on, but still you guys have find out the time and joined me live. It really means a lot to me, right? um Hello Nikhil, hi, how are you? Good evening Ankit. um Clear and loud. Thank you so much for the confirmation, Nikhil. uh, Happy Diwali, Aniket. Happy Diwali to everyone who is joining me live, and those who will watch after the session also, the recording part. A very happy Diwali to everyone. Okay. So please give me the confirmation. I'm trying to share my screen as well. Please do tell me whether my screen is also properly visible or not. Okay. Um, Okay. Is my screen is visible to everyone? Happy Diwali, Abhishek. A very good evening, Mr. Jam. Is my screen is visible? I think both the screens are visible to everyone, right? Perfect. I think we can start the session. Those who want to join, they can meanwhile join it out. I think I already have shared the information in every portal. Okay, perfect. So, as I told you, today's session is all about pandas. So, if I'll ask you what, in literal terms, if I'll ask you what is pandas, anyone who is already aware about this library, anyone who have heard this name prior? Yes. So basically, if you will observe, it's a open source data analysis library. So whenever you will heard this term as pandas specifically, I'm saying you will heard it a lot number of times if you are entering into this data science domain or data analysis domain. It's nothing but it's a open source, I would say, data analysis library which is very widely used and written in Python programming language. Okay, written in Python programming language. Now, in the last session, if you remember, if I'll just show you, in the last session, if you remember, we have covered up about mastering the power of NumPy in Python. So if I'll just refresh this page, if I'll just show you here, if you will observe the second last, now the last one is mastering the power of pandas. You will observe that I have talked about mastering the power of NumPy in my last session. So basically, whenever we are talking about this pandas package, you will observe that it mainly leverages, I would say, it leverages the power as well as the speed of NumPy module or the package to make data analysis and you can say EDA really easy task for any data scientist. So I hope you are already aware about the complete life cycle of a data science project. Anyone who can tell me what is the complete life cycle of any data science project? If you will observe, first of all, we need to think about the business problem, what understand the business problem, whatever problem we are trying to solve. After that, as per that problem, in the second phase of data science pipes, if you will see pipeline, we need to collect the data, right? Wherever we can be able to find out the data sources, we will usually get that data. In the third phase, if you will observe, once we will be able to collect the data, we need to understand that data. We need to do the pre-processing of that data. It's not like that we can directly go for the model selection phase या फिर modeling phase, data modeling phase. No, the most crucial aspect in the complete data science life cycle, if you will ask me, that is nothing but is equals to EDA, exploratory data analysis. So that's where this pandas package plays a very important role. Without this knowledge, you will not able to do a data analysis or data pre-processing of any kind of a data available in the data science project, whatever domain you are working on. Maybe you are working on healthcare domain, you are working on finance domain, you are working on any networking domain, you're working on any security based domain, cyber security domain. In whatever domain you want to work, obviously you have to first of all analyze the data, you have to do the pre-processing of the data, and this pandas package will help us to do that. Always remember, without having knowledge of this module, this package, you will not able to understand that what that data is talking all about. And if you will not able to understand the data, if you will not able to pre-process the data, obviously whatever model you apply on top of that, maybe with respect to machine learning algorithms, maybe with respect to deep learning algorithms, you will not able to get a good results. So EDA is very important task, and to do the EDA, pandas is something which you have to understand. So that's the importance of understanding the pandas. Okay, now to understand that, obviously the major prerequisite is you have a knowledge of numpy, as at the starting of the session itself I have talked about. Now, when you're doing in your own local system, if you're doing so, you have to install pandas. But because we are doing in a Google Colab, we can directly import pandas as PD. So, as in the previous session, also I have talked about this, as is an alias name. Okay, I don't want to repeat the name, complete name of pandas. That's why I'm giving it as an alias name PD, and I'll use that quite frequently in my complete code. Now, after that, what we will do, we will try to let's use the numpy as well, which I have used in the uh, previous particular module also, previous particular session also. We have talked about this numpy a lot. So we will try to use both of these. We will try to make use of the data set, and we'll try to do the analysis on top of that. And after that, at the end of the session, I will tell you which thing you have to follow after this session before coming to the next important session. Okay, so let's try to start the part. If you want, what you can do is you can also open with me a Google Colab, so that you will be able to understand and do whatever task I'm doing on my own system. So if you really want, please do go ahead and try to open the Google Colab. Meanwhile, maybe I'll take some questions, and then once you are ready with me, you can just ping me in the chat window that okay, we are ready. You can give a thumbs up, and then maybe I will move ahead. Once you will be able to done with the importing part of a pandas and numpy, then we can move ahead. Now, to access the data, as I told you, I have already shared a link in the chat window. You can check it out, session drive link. In that chat window, if you will observe, you will be having something called as a train.csv file. I think you can see on my screen. So here I have shared this train.csv file. You can download this file in your local system. Okay, so can you do that and give me a confirmation, everyone? So Ankit has said a good line actually, very good realistic example. As we took vegetable from the market, we used to clean before cooking it. That's true. That's what actually pandas do. So it's a very relatable example of whatever I'm trying to convey here. That it's very much actual thing that before we will start to do the actual process of maybe prediction, whatever problem statement we want to convey, what we want is we want to clean that data, right? We want to get the quality of that data, similar to when we get the vegetables, we used to first of all clean it before making it. Very good statement. Okay, आप डीएसए कब करवाओगे? डीएसए आई ऑलरेडी हैव डन अ लॉट actually. If you will go to my channel, you will be able to check it out. That there is a full-fledged playlist of DSA, which you can see DSA using Python. It's a very mature playlist. There are few things which are missing, which I will definitely try to wrap it up very soon. Apart from this, I already have covered up a lot more questions with respect to FANG DSA interview series. Please go and check it out if you are someone who is not already check it out this thing. uh, we will try to conduct more live sessions with respect to DSA, but yeah, it's very much matured. I am working on other playlists which are not that much matured as of now. Meanwhile, you can just try to cover up whatever content I have already delivered on my YouTube channel. It would I think really be helpful for you, because I have received so many beautiful comments from each and everyone who is following this playlist. Either they got the job, or they will be able to crack the interviews now. They will be able to understand the concept as a beginner. I got lot of messages in the LinkedIn, right, with respect to this playlist. It's I think if you will ask me what is that playlist which you really like until so far, so I'm working on my YouTube from past 1 year. And if you will ask me that, Priya, what do you think, which particular playlist you like the most? So I think as per the quality of the content which is already being delivered very good, in a very good way, I would say DSA using Python, and career and development, if you will go and check it out, right? And stats for data science. These three playlists I think are relatively really good, because the content is matured now. Remaining playlist, I think there is a lot more to add, and I'm keep on adding the stuffs. But still, if you will ask me today, after 1 year, that Priya, which particular playlist is like you really like the most about your channel, so I will say that definitely, as per the quality of the content, these three playlists: number one, DSA using Python; number two, career and development; number three, stats for data science. If you will talk about resume part, so many people have liked this. This is also the live session which I have taken. You can see 27K views are there, right? So many people have pinged me that, before that they are not already aware about Overleaf platform. So please try to check it out. These things are really, really helpful. I'm pretty sure these things really helped me in my career journey, and that's what I'm sharing you here itself. So please go and check it out. Okay. uh it's a very good question. Is there any difference between DSA you teach on YouTube versus any batch where I used to teach wherever I'm working on? See, do you think there is a actual difference? The mentor is same, the content is same, the way of teaching is same. What happens in the paid courses versus on YouTube is that you will get a special attention. You can interact with your mentor live, and that's the only difference. It's not that if on YouTube content is free, then it's like, okay, there is nothing quality here, and if there is a paid something, then there will be a quality. If the mentor is same, quality of teaching will always remain same. Doesn't matter wherever you are studying, in whatever platform you are studying. The only difference is that obviously you will get more advantage and accessibility with respect to the paid things as comparable to the free of course things. That's the only difference, I would say, in a simple words. Okay, I think I don't have any better answer with respect to this. Nikhil is saying I'm ready, good to go. So I think meanwhile I have taken few questions. Everyone is ready now. So let's get started with the importing part. I hope you already have imported the pandas package. Now what I can do is, there are two ways. First of all, maybe you can try to upload the from local itself. I will try to upload it, this file. So what you can do is you can click on this upload button and try to upload the file which you have downloaded. So it will be there in your left hand side. I hope you can see train.csv file is there. What you can do is you can copy this path. You can copy this path, and then maybe we can move ahead. Now, whenever we're talking about this pandas module, there consist of two special data structures that we have in pandas that I really want to focus on in today's session. Whenever I'm talking about pandas module, I'm saying that there are two special data structures that we have with respect to pandas. I hope everyone knows what is the meaning of data structure. Those who are following my channel, at least they are already aware about what is the literal meaning of any data structure. Anyone who can tell me what is the meaning of data structure? A way to structure the data, right? Simple words. If you will see from the words itself, you will be able to convey the definition of it, that a way to organize the data efficiently, right? So when I'm saying that pandas contains two special data structures which we all should be aware of, it means that we should know that in which form, in which format pandas will efficiently store the data that we will provide with respect to the data science projects. So one way we will discuss today is something called as a data frame. I hope that you must have heard again this term quite frequently. One way is a data frame, and the second data structure which we will discuss today is called as series. Many people in an interview also, this question is very, very widely asked in data science interviews. Specifically, I'm saying that what is the difference between data frame versus series based data structure in pandas? So how basically you have to answer this question in terms of practical also knowledge? How will you able to deliver that particular aspect? Let's try to understand this fact for the very first time. I think those who are listening for the very first time, it's very, very important for them to understand this particular part pretty well, because many people I have seen are still confused in this aspect. Okay. So now, first of all, let's try to read the data. Now, in order to read the data, what will happen is we will be having this pandas module alias name as PD. There exists a function which we call as read underscore. Now, this read underscore function is there. Now you can see that there are so many functions that we have in pandas to read what kind of file we have. Do we have a CSV file? Do we have a Excel file? Do we have a JSON file? Do we have a ORC file? Do we have a pickle file? Do we have a Parquet file? These are the different formats of a files that we have. As of now, the file which I have chosen for today's demonstration is CSV. Maybe in the upcoming sessions, I'll take some different formats file so that you will be able to understand the different formats files as well. But today's session, just to make it easy, to take it easy flow, let's take it CSV file, because I want to read the CSV file. If you will go and check it out, What is the extension of your file which I'm taking? Train.csv. So here we are taking a CSV file. Now what we can do inside this file, we will try to copy our path. Whatever path we have just now copied, just copy that path. And what you will be able to observe that now your path is ready, your file is ready. And once you will start read this file, what you will be able to get is, let's try to understand. This is how basically maximum files in data science project, they will be in some format, and this is how basically you will be able to read that file with the help of this pandas package. Okay, now if I just want to show you what is the type of this data, what is the type, I think this function I already have discussed in my previous sessions. What this particular function will do, it will give me the data type of this particular data, and you can see that it is belonging to a data frame. So this is a very first data structure. So always remember, whenever you are reading any kind of a file, any format file in pandas, it will try to convert that file into a data frame. Now what is a data frame? It's a collection of rows and columns. If you want to see the topmost 5 records in this particular data frame, there exists a function called as a data.head. If I'll just run this function and we'll try to show you, it will give you the topmost 5 records available in your data set. That is passenger ID. You can see what are the records that you have, survived, P class, all these are what we call as a columns or the features in this available data, and it will be able to give you the topmost 5 records available in this particular data set. I hope everyone can see that in their own screen as well if you're following me with me, if you're following with me, right? So this is how basically you will be able to access the very first 5 records with the help of this head function. So what is data frame? If someone will ask you, it's a set of rows and columns. It's kind of a records that you have in the form of a rows and columns, that in the form of a tables that you have, right? So this is something that we have is called as a data frame. Similarly, if let's say we are not taking any kind of a data, maybe you have tried to create your own manual data, maybe you have some dictionary, let's say, I hope you are already aware about the data structures that we have, the standard basic data structures that we have in Python. Dictionary is one of them. Let's try to create one dictionary where I will be having the set of records. Maybe the very first record which I have is, let's say we have is name, and inside this name we have a list of names. Maybe I will be having a name of Priya, I will be having a name of Nikhil, right? I will be having a name of, let's say, who are the people are the, maybe Sanjay, right? Sanjay. I will be having some people like maybe Ravindra. Okay, so these are the people that are joining me live, let's say. And now what I want is, I want to add maybe their age. Now let's say the age factor will be for Priya it is, let's say, 29, for Nikhil let's say 25, for Sanjay let's say 23, for Ravindra let's say 32. Now next is something that we have is, um, maybe you can say the city that they belong to, and here we can say that someone is living in Delhi, let's say Priya Delhi, Nikhil let's say Bangalore, right? Sanjay let's say maybe Rohtak, and Ravindra let's say again Delhi. Now this is the set of a record that I have. Okay, now let's run this. Let's say you will be having already a data structure and you want to convert this data structure in the form of a data frame. So what you have to do, there exists one function called as pd.dataframe. pd.dataframe will try to convert any kind of a data structure that you have, maybe list, maybe dictionary, into something called as a data frame. So if I will just show you before this dict1 how it will look like, you can see that it will look like something like this in the form of a dictionary, where we will be having a name, we will be having a age, we will be having a city. But now once I will convert this, and again if I just show you the data frame, what you will be able to observe that now we have something called as a tabular format, where a proper column is assigned, a proper row number is there. By default the row number is starting from 0 and will go until the number of records we have. I hope that until this part everything is clear. This is the very first data structure, very very important, that we have in pandas. Now, with the help of this data frame, we have so many operations that we can do. So what are those operations? I will talk about that, but before that, if you have any sort of query, you can ask from me. So until so far, we have talked about something called as a data frame, which is the very first data structure that we have in pandas, right? Data frame, how we can create that data frame, that is what we have discussed, where the actual data is stored whenever you are dealing with any kind of a project. This is how basically your starting point will be, where you will start analyzing your data. Now, what are the operations you can do on top of this? Let's say, if you remember, the actual data in the form of a CSV we have stored in a data variable, data frame. So what I can do, let's say I want to see the shape of my data. I want to see in the complete CSV file how many number of records are there, how many number of columns are there. There exists a function called as a shape. If I just use this function, I will be able to get the idea that there are in total 891 number of records are there, and 12 number of columns are there. These columns are something that we call as features. So if someone is asked, is talking to you and telling you that, in my project I have these many features, I have 14 features, I have, let's say, 15 features, I have 16 features. So automatically your brain should say that, okay, this that guy is talking about something called as a number of columns that we have in a given data. When someone is saying that I have 891 number of records, it means that that guy is talking about something called as a number of rows that we have in that particular data. Is that clear? So one question is coming up, and Ankit is saying, what is the difference between data structure, data frame, and series, and those data structure like list, dictionary, and tuples? I'll talk about that. Don't worry. We'll see. So the very first thing that we have talked about is data frame. I think so far so good. Can I pre-assume this thing? Now, what are the basic operations which everyone usually do? For example, let's say you want to check it out that how many null values are available. Null values are available in a given data set. So you will be able to get any kind of a data. The very first thing you have to understand that is there any null values are there? Is there any missing values will be there? So there exists a function. For example, data dot is null will give you the boolean value, true or false. I hope you all remember the boolean data such that we have, which gives the value as true or false. If the null value is available, it will give the answer as true. If it is not available, it will give the answer as false. If I'll say dot sum, it will give me the summation of how many null values are there. If I just run this particular part, you will be able to get that in all the features, in all the columns that we have, we will be having the number of null values. For example, passenger ID contains 0 null values. Only age and cabin and embarked contains the null values available in a given data. So this is a simple kind of analysis that we can do. Similarly, let's say you want to see all the columns that you have in a given data. So there exists a function called as data.columns. If you just run this, you will be able to get a list of all the columns that you have, all the features that you have available in a given data set. Very simple, right? Similarly, let's say you want to see every particular column, every particular feature data type. So what you can do, you can say data.d types. Once you will run this, you will be able to get that for every particular column that you have, for every particular feature that you have, what is the data type available to us. So here you can see that some data type are of integer, some are of object, some are of float, and so on. So in this way, for every particular data type in future, you want to see that, for all these features available, what are the data types, you can clearly check it out. You can clearly see that. If let's say you want to see the information of a complete data, you can say data.info. If you will run this, you will be able to get the complete information of a data set. For example, it's a data frame. It contains 12 columns. These are the columns that we have, how many non-null values we have, and what is the data type that we have. So if you want to see individually, you can see that. If you want to see complete information with the help of this info function, you can clearly check it out. Is that part is clear to everyone, can I say? So basic things we will be able to understand directly with the using of data frame that we have. Once you understood how we can create a data frame, After that, it's very easy to work upon and to experiment with that data frames, and everything you will work upon in a project is on this data frame itself. Is that clear? Right? I hope so far so good. It's quite easy to understand, to take, to intake. Now, the next important question is that we will be having so many different kinds of features available. I want to access any feature, I want to access the records of any features. In how many ways can we access that? What are the different ways to access that? A very simple way is, you can say data, in the bracket you can say whatever a feature you want to get access that. So let's say I want to access age. What I will do, I will be able to get the records with respect to that particular column that we have. Similarly, let's say you want to get the access of multiple records that you have. So how you can do, you can try to create a list of that. So what you can do, you can say maybe data of, you can take a list and here you can type whatever things you want. For example, I want age, I want a fair column, I want, let's say, cabin column. I can just click on this and you will be able to observe that now you will be able to get a new kind of a data frame where you will be having the selected columns that you have. Maybe you don't want to use every column that we have, you want to use some selected columns, you can clearly use that as well. Now, a very interesting topic which I really want to talk about in today's session is that there comes something called as a series now. What is the meaning of series? For example, if I will say that I want to access the data of age, right? I want to access the data of age. A single column I want to access. Data of age. And I will be able to get that. If I will say that what is the type of this particular thing? If I just check it out, what is the type of this data of age? Just try to see this very important, very clearly. If you will observe this, the type of this is coming out to be series. Until so far, in whatever discussion I have done from the last 30 minutes, we have talked about something called as data frame. Now, what happened? Here, when I am accessing only one column, I got a data type as series. So, what happened here? What is the difference between something called as a data frame and the second important thing which we call as a series? What things you have observed? Always remember, series is also a data structure. In pandas, series is also a data structure, but with the fact that it contains only single row or single column with it. If you want to access a single row or a single column in a complete set of record, that will become a series. If you want to have a multiple set of records, if you want to have a multiple set of features, if you want to have a complete set of rows and columns, then it will be a data frame. So if you always remember, in a data frame we always have a set of records. For example, if I will check what is the type of this particular part, let's try to check it out. Let's see. This is coming out to be data frame because here you have chosen multiple columns that we have. But because here we have chosen only one dimension, 1D column, 1D feature, that's where our type will get changed to series. Is that part is clear to everyone? Now, few minutes back, uh, Ankit has asked the question that in this playlist itself, if you remember, you have talked about mastering data structures, right? Mastering Python data structures with real life example, where you have given us the idea about what is tuple, what is list, what is dictionary, right? What is a set? Majorly four data structures we have talked about. Now today you're talking about again a separate data structure which is data frame, which is series. What is the difference between these two? Anyone who wants to answer? Now you all are aware of in this session, after this session, that what is data frame, what is series, and as I told you, it's a data structure only. So we have talked about in a previous sessions in a Python programming playlist about list, about tuples, right? About sets, about dictionary, and I have said you clearly that all these are a data structure in Python. right? That's why they are in a Python programming playlist as well. So now today also we are discussing about data structures. What is the difference between these two? Anyone who wants to answer, who wants to give a try? Let's see, maybe your guess will work out. So he's saying that we are forming data frames through list and tuples. That's true. We can form a data frame from a list or tuple, but this is a data structure and this is also a data structure. What is the difference between these two? This can be asked from to you in an interview as well, that this is a data structure that you have in Python, and that's what we already have discussed. What is this? This is also data structure. What is the difference between these two? So you can say that it's a built-in. It's a built-in. It's already available in Python programming language standard set of data structures that we have: list, tuples, and dictionary. Okay. When we're talking about data frames and series specifically, that is not built-in. That is specifically available inside this pandas only. So if, let's say, you will not import this pandas package, as such data frame and series existence will not be there. So it's available only inside this data frame and series will only be available inside this pandas module, pandas package. So it's a predefined, it's also built in, but it's available only inside the pandas. So there is a liability here. But when we're talking about list, tuples, set, dictionary, there is nothing as such cases there. It's available, anyone can use it. It's available as such in Python programming itself. I hope it answers your question. So if you will go in and check out the documentation of pandas, which I really want everyone to do after this session, as I always say, the documentation reading is very, very important after every session. You will be able to understand that inside this pandas there exists already, developers have organized this data structure called as data frame and series for the ease of developers, so that they will be able to easily work with the data set, easily work with a huge amount of data. But with respect to list, tuple, it's a built-in, it's a already defined, where there is no as such need of importing anything perfectly, right? In pandas we need to have to import, then only we can use the data structure called as data frames and series. So I really want everyone to after this session work and talk and see all about the things in the documentation as well. For example, what kind of data does pandas handle? You will be able to see that what is data frame, everything is written here. You can see from the diagram itself how do I read and write tabular data. You can see and read all these things. The more you spend your own time on top of these sessions, the better understanding you will be able to get. How to create plots, how do I select a subset of a table, all these things I'll talk about in the upcoming sessions, where we'll talk about the plotting per se. But today's session is just on the basic stuff, so let's focus on the basic stuff itself, right? Shall we move ahead now to the next important part? Within few minutes I will wrap up the session. I will not make it a very huge session, because I know it's a festive season. I also want you guys to enjoy the session and enjoy the festive season as well. So I'll take few more minutes, and then maybe I'll just wrap up the session also. Let's move ahead. So until so far what we have seen, we have talked about data frame, we have talked about the series data structure as well. Series in pandas, okay, okay. So until so far we have seen what is data frame. Firstly, we have seen what is pandas, we have seen what is data frame, then we have talked about what is a series, right? I think so far so good. Now let's move ahead. How many of you have already have seen my stats playlist, stats for data science playlist? How many of you have seen my stats for data science playlist? See, now from this part of the session, I really want everyone to be, aware about the concepts of statistics. If there is anyone who is not aware about these things, I really want you all to, go and check it out, this playlist. Again, I already have designed in such a way that if there is someone who is not from this background also will be able to understand the concept behind this. And let me tell you, whatever things I have talked about here, this personally I have learned from my master's program in IIT Hyderabad. Whatever curriculum they have designed, the way I have understood each and everything, like that only I have designed my playlist. So the content is a very top notch content. If you will be able to understand, that will really help you now moving ahead talking about more EDA stuffs. Why I'm saying so? For example, in today's session, let's say I want to get the descriptive analysis of a stats part in this data set. So there is a function called as data.describe. Now this function, what it will do is it will give you the description. I would say it will try to provide you the descriptive statistics of a given data set. Now this particular thing is very important to understand. What is the difference between a descriptive stats versus inferential stats? What things we should learn in descriptive stats, what things we should learn in inferential stats. Now these words will be a jargon for those people who are not at all available, aware about the concepts of statistics. And let me tell you, it's not difficult, it's just that you're not aware. And to get that awareness, I already have given you the resources very very clearly in the form of short videos. You will be able to get access of this. Once you will be able to understand these things, it's really easy for you to get the grasp over these things. For example, here you can see count is very easy. I think everyone will be able to understand that this is indicating that how many number of records do we have for passenger ID, for survived, for P class, for age, for SIP SP, for park, and for fare. Now mean is the average. It is trying to give us the average. Then from there, from this point, maybe for few people it would be difficult for them to understand it logically. Maybe you know how you can calculate the standard deviation, but what is the inference of standard deviation, that you have to understand. That if you want to understand, you have to refer those sessions, because I have already explained in a lot more detail with a lot of examples. Again, I got a lot of good feedback with respect to this playlist as well, stats playlist as well. Standard deviation, then this concept percentile, many people pre-assume that percentile and percentage are interchangeable. They are one and the same thing, which is not the fact. What is the difference between these two? How basically we used to calculate the percentile, 25 percentile, 75 percentile, 50 percentile is nothing but as a median. And how we can calculate that, it's very important to understand. Then what is the minimum value and the maximum value? So in a way you will be able to get the complete descriptive idea of a data set or a data frame with the help of this describe function. One thing which you will be able to observe here is that in this case, whatever be the description you will be able to get, you will be able to get only with the help of the integer based data type. If you will observe name, sex, then we have something called as a ticket, we have cabin, we have embarked. All these features, all these columns are not available in the descriptive stats. Why is that so? Because of a very simple reason, that obviously we can't calculate a mean standard deviation of something which is a known numeric data type, I would say. So that's why if you will observe, only those type which is having a integer or float, that only you will be able to get as a by default describe feature. How we will be able to get for that no object part, we will discuss it later. But as of now, just try to understand that whenever you're using this function of describe, you will be able to get the descriptive stats of only those features which are only numeric per se. Non-numeric, you will not able to get that. Is this part is clear to everyone? Can I move ahead? So far so good. 25, 50, 75 percentiles, and they are different. That's true. That's true. Now how we can calculate that? If you will go and check it out, in the box plot video, I think outlier detection with its implementation, I have explained this, the concept of outliers, that how basically you will be able to evaluate these percentiles. How with the help of some numeric example, I have tried to explain you each and everything. Please go and check it out for those who have missed that. That's it. Okay, I'll not explain these things repeatedly. Okay, perfect. Now uh, let's say I want to access a specific row. I want to access a specific row. One way to access the records is via columns, and that's what we have seen, that when we write the column name, when we write the column name, we will be able to access the data set with respect to whatever column we are mentioning. If I want to access via the records, via the records indexing, how we can access? Via the row indexing. If let's say I want to access the second record or the third record or the fourth record in a given data set, how can I access that? Now again, this point is somewhat confusing for few people. There exists some function called as a lock, lock, data dot lock. In this case, you can provide the specific index numbers which you want to access. Maybe in your analysis part, you want maybe specific the first record and the sixth record. So you have to mention zeroth record and the fifth record. And once you will run this, uh, is this available? Let me check it out. Okay. So here you have to mention the two brackets. Now, if you will just run this, I think it will be good. Now, here, if you will be able to observe what is happening is, if you will observe, every particular data set by default will start from a zero based indexing. That's what we have discussed, right? If I have tried to create that in the form of a data frame, you have seen that, right? For a small data set, by default, it will start from zero. So here, if you will observe, what is happening is I will be able to access the zeroth record as well as the fifth record very easily, right? So if you want to mention specific records and if you want to get a specific row indexing, you can clearly do that with the help of a log function. Is this clear to each and everyone? Shall we move ahead? Now, let's say you want to access a specific row and specific column. You want to access a specific row and specific column. So, if you want to access a specific row and specific column, that's where we will be having another function which we call as a iLog function, data dot iLog, index logging. So here basically we have to mention which particular row index you want to get the records. Let's say I want to access 2 to 4. Which particular column you want to access? Let's say I want to access the first two columns that I have, 0 and 1. So now if you will observe, what will happen? Let's see. You will be able to get the record of 2 and 3 as the row index number. If you will observe, the last value is not inclusive, it's exclusive. And again, the last column will not be inclusive. So it will give the 0 and 1. So what usually happens, if you will observe data dot columns, if I will do, you will be able to get the list of the indexes, list of the values or the features that you have. Now, what will happen by default? If you all know, I hope everyone is aware about the fact that in the list, indexing will start from 0. 0 is this, 1 is this, 2 is this, 3 is this, 4 is this, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So what I'm saying, I want from 0 to 2 columns means it will give me 0 and 1 column. So that's why passenger ID and survived will come. I want the index row record number from 2 to 4. It means it will give me 2 and 3. It will exclude the fourth value. So that's where you should know the difference between lock and iLog. Sometimes in an interview, people can ask from you that what is the difference between the lock and iLog. So you will be easily able to convey to them that in a lock particular function, we have to do the row indexing with the specific row number which we want to get access of. In the iLog function, if I want to get a specific row and specific column, I have to use that. Okay. So this is how basically we will be able to get the difference between these two. So I think this much is enough for today's session. This is what I have planned to cover up. If you have any questions now, you can ask from me. I will be there for the next few minutes and then maybe we can wrap up the session. Anyhow, what things we have learned in the today's class? We have talked about what is pandas. After that, we have talked about the two different data structures that we have, data frame and series. We have talked about what are the operations we can do on top of this data frame. So there are three important things we have talked about: pandas, then data structures available in pandas, where we have talked about data frame and series. After that, we have talked about something called as the operations on data frame that we can do. and everything I have shown you with the help of a live demonstration, so that you will not able to forget all these functions. I think if I'll just write these things on the scribble link, you will not able to understand until or unless I will not show you the stuffs. Okay. So I hope this part is pretty much clear to everyone. All the resources you will be able to get in this drive itself. I will also upload it on my GitHub repo. You can just try to search Priya Bhatia GitHub. The very first link on the Google Chrome, you will be able to get mine, and you can directly go there and try to check it out. The Python programming playlist. If you want, I can show you as well. So if I'll just go to my profile, um, here you can see that there is a repository by the name of Python Programming, the ultimate playlist. All the notes, all the code files until so far, whatever things I have covered up in the playlist, all these things are available in this particular resources. So you can go and check it out this as well, right? uh is this content is sufficient for us? See, whenever some student usually ask me this question, I always say that any sort of content is not sufficient for you. S- when mentor teaches you, or whenever you're learning from any of the resources, I really want you all to, don't just, once you understood the concept, don't rely on anyone. Just try to do on top of that your own research, spend your own time, and then you can say that after some point of time, if you feel very confident about some topic, then you can say that okay, now this is enough for me. So for everyone it is a different answer. Maybe for some people who are joining me live, they will be able to understand maximum stuffs. For some people, maybe they will get 50%. For some, they will get only 20%. For some, maybe they will not able to get anything, so maybe they have to rewatch the recording completely again. So it depends person to person. It's not sufficient. You have to do your own, hard work on top of this. It's like I have given you the starting point. Now where to end is your part, which you have to think of. Okay. um I will let you know, Ankit, about this. You can ping me on the LinkedIn part. I'll let you know. Okay. Any other question with respect to whatever things we have covered up? You can ask from me. Before coming to the next session, what I want from you all is, I want everyone to go through my last video in the stats playlist: exploratory data analysis, the key to extracting meaningful insights from data. This complete video is a talk about how we can do a EDA. I think I have taken a diabetes data, and how with the help of pandas package we can do more advanced stuffs. So it's a advanced session, I would say, as comparable to what things we have covered up in today's class. So once you will be able to understand the today's session, today's code file is clear to everyone, then I would suggest everyone to go towards this particular session. And before coming to the next session, I really want everyone to already aware about this particular session as well. Then maybe we can move ahead. I will also attach the link of this particular session in the comment section of this video. Also, I really want everyone to please do share this video, please do hit like button, please do, uh, tell in the comment section that what things you are learning from each and every session. It would really help me to understand that at what point of time, what things I have conveyed, what things are still missing from my side. The feedback is very important for any mentor. This is what I always believe in. uh, at whatever platform I used to take sessions also, I always see how the feedback is going on. But the disappointing thing is that on YouTube I'm not getting any sort of feedback. Okay, analytics is something which is different. Okay, subscribers are increasing, this much ratio is increasing, graphical things are coming up, but the engagement point, the comment thing is not coming up. Like you're liking the session, maybe you're not liking at all, you will not able to understand anything. It can be positive, it can be negative. Positive will help me to, motivate myself to create such kind of series, to create such kind of sessions, live or recorded pace. Negative feedback will also help me to, learn more, that how basically in what way I can deliver in a much better sense. I think that's the responsibility of any mentor, right? So anyhow, the feedback will always help me to grow. So what I want from you all is, those who are watching me live and those who will watch after this session also, for every video, I'm not saying as per this video specifically, for every video in future, if you're listening me out in any of the videos. I used to see every feedback because it came as a notification to my phone, and I usually check it out. I usually respond as well if I feel like that there is something you're asking from me. So please do share your feedback. I think nothing beyond that I really want from you all. Nothing beyond that I really want from you all. What I want is whatever things I am delivering, is that going in a right way or not? Or I need to change my way. Whatever be the case will be right. If you will not give me the feedback, how will I get to know? How will I make that connection with you all? Which is really, really, really important for me, right? So, thank you so much, Ankit. It really means a lot to me. All these efforts, I think, are really helpful, and that's why this channel is also growing. So that's really, really, helpful for me, and thank you so much for that. Okay. So I think we can wrap up the session now. I will see you all very soon in the upcoming session. We will talk about the pandas itself in the upcoming session also, because as I told you, it's not completed yet. But at the same time, I don't want the session to be very, very long. I'll keep coming again after 2 3 days. We will meet again and we'll do the live sessions again. Okay. Bye bye everyone, and see ya. Again, happy Diwali, and we'll see you all very soon in the upcoming session.